What's up, Birmingham? My name's Ryan Westover. I'm the chef and owner of Pizza Grace, and my passion is pizza. So I got my start when I was 18 years old at Domino's Pizza, actually, and that's where I really got involved in the process of making pizzas and just being in the industry. From there, I went on to some other kind of chain pizzerias, and then I worked at a place called Johnny's, New York style in Canton, Georgia, where I grew up. That's where I got more into making the dough from scratch and just a little more of the process of making pizza. A few years later, I moved to Washington, D.C., where I'd been for the last 12 years. And there, I honed my skills more as a pastry chef in fine dining restaurants. But I actually started teaching culinary school where I went to culinary school. So after I graduated, about 5 years later, I was offered a job as a teacher. And that's where I really got back into making pizza. That sort of reignited my passion for pizza. And I started working on the business plan and sort of concepting of Pizza Grace at that time. Pizza is, in my mind, an artisan bread. Haven't seen it treated like that as much as I would like to. And so when we concepted Pizza Grace, we decided that this was really going to be an artisan bread bakery. We just package it up as a pizzeria and a restaurant. But from a business perspective, being my first concept, my first venture solo, everyone likes pizza, and we thought it was a much safer kind of gamble. If we're going to take that plunge, we're going to do it with something we knew was going to be easier to sell, easier to kind of get the public interested in. What landed us here in Birmingham was the opportunity was here, and the support that we needed to open Pizza Grace was in Birmingham. We had pitched in Washington, D.C., in Bethesda, Maryland, in Chicago, in Charleston, and Charlotte, North Carolina. And we ended up getting linked up with orchestra partners, and they have really taken a huge interest in us and given us a tremendous amount of support to help us get this place open. I wanted a name that had some substance to it, that had an appeal, an emotional appeal that's more than just serving food. Grace has a lot of different meanings. Some of it is, we kind of broke it down into how it works with our food, our hospitality, our product, our philosophy. We're able to kind of do that by saying Grace is elegant simplicity and refinement of movement. That's one example. And that's our approach to the food. It's pizza, but we've made something we hope is very simple but elegant in its simplicity. And then we've done some refining of it, just our process in making dough especially. And then the other one is just like that kind of graciousness, that's the hospitality aspect of it. A divine blessing, that's kind of what we think of as bread and pizza. Bread sustained humankind for thousands of years, and I think it deserves a place in our modern society. And then finally, it's just like a blessing given around the table. So you say grace. We have these big, beautiful communal tables. I just think that has that family-like feel when you're eating at it. So the first thing is it's a 100% naturally leavened dough, which means that we cultivate the yeast here. We basically just create an environment for it, pull it out of the air, and make sure that it's well fed, has fresh water, clean air, all the stuff people need. That's what yeast needs. We shape it a very specific way to make sure that the crust is practically hollow, super airy. So you'll notice is there's gonna be really big crust, very light, and we just put a lot of air into it. So you kind of get this kind of cool, super well risen crust. And then it gets the sauce and toppings, goes in the oven. We bake at a 720-degree temp. That gives us that kind of Neapolitan big rise, but we've kept the temperature down a little bit so we can develop a lot of texture on the crust. So what you'll see, I think, is you'll get somewhere between Neapolitan pizza and a New York style. So we get that big airy crust, and we also get that really great crispy texture on it. My name's Ryan Westover, and this is my passion.